The movie starts in 1973, where we see the mother of Madam Webb, aka Cassie Webb. Cassie's mother is in the jungles with her friend Ezekiel, looking for a rare and special spider. It is said that the venom of this species of spider has powers that can not only heal a human, but also give them special powers. Cassie's mother also talks to her friend Ezekiel about how there is a tribe living in these jungles whose members are very powerful and also have spider-like powers. When Cassie's mother finds one of this species. However, when she finds the spider, we see that Cassie's mother's friend, Ezekiel, pulls out a gun from his pocket and shoots her, taking the spider from her hands and running away. Before leaving, he tells Cassie's mother that he will use the spider for himself and become very powerful with its venom. He then leaves. Sometime later, we see that the same tribe that Cassie's mother and Ezekiel were talking about approaches her. These are people with spider-like powers. They take Cassie's mother and carry her directly to their cave. There, they use those special spiders to bite her, injecting the venom into her body. At this time, Cassie's mother is pregnant. Therefore, when Cassie is born, she also has the powers of that special spider. However, Cassie's mother dies immediately after giving birth. But a man from the same tribe picks up Cassie and tells her that she will one day return here and learn about her mother, after which she will realize how great a sacrifice her mother made. The story then shifts, and we see that 30 years have passed. The story then picks up in 2003. In New York City in 2003, we see that Cassie is now 30 years old. We see here that Cassie works as a paramedic, saving lives in emergency situations. Here we also see Cassie's colleagues, Ben Parker, none other than Peter Parker's uncle. In this scene, we see that Cassie and Ben Parker are both in an ambulance taking a lady straight to the hospital. But then, on the way, they are met by Maddie, who is one of the three most important girls in this movie. All three girls are also connected to Cassie Webb. Cassie then quickly drives the ambulance to the hospital and delivers the lady. When they admit her, they learn that the lady also has a stepdaughter named Julia Carpenter. After taking the lady to the hospital, Cassie goes straight home. When she arrives home, we find out that Anya, one of the three main girls, lives on the floor below her apartment. In this way, we are shown all three girls, Julia, Anya, and Maddie. Cassie then goes to work as usual. This time, Cassie's job is to rescue a man trapped on a bridge after a car accident. Cassie and Ben work together to get the man out of the car, but Cassie accidentally falls off the bridge and into the water. As soon as she falls underwater, we see that Cassie has a series of visions that look like spider webs. She also hears a lot of voices, which is a glimpse of her powers. However, when Cassie opens her eyes, she sees that she is out of the water and her friends, sister, and other colleagues have saved her life. But here, strange things start happening to Cassie. Basically, Cassie sees future events, and after seeing those events, they actually happen. Because of this, Cassie feels like maybe this is all happening to her because she fell into the water. So she ignores it at the time. But even after that, these things keep happening to Cassie, and she keeps seeing future events from time to time. A few days later, Cassie goes back to work. But here, Cassie has a vision in which she sees one of her colleagues driving an ambulance and getting into an accident that kills him. The next moment, she sees that the colleague she saw this for is actually going to drive the ambulance. Seeing this, she tries to stop him, but he doesn't listen to Cassie and drives away. But as soon as he drives away, we see that he has an accident right in front of Cassie's eyes and dies. In this way, Cassie realizes that she can actually see the future and know things that are going to happen. After this, Cassie becomes very upset and starts to wonder why this is all happening to her. But then, Cassie goes on a train journey. Julia, Anya, and Maddie also board the same coach as Cassie and sit quite close to her. But then, seeing the three of them, Cassie has a vision in which she sees a man approaching them and killing them all. Cassie is very upset to see this, but after a while, she sees the man she saw in the vision slowly walking towards the three of them. Seeing this, Cassie realizes that whatever she sees in the future is going to happen. Now the man who is coming to kill these three is none other than Ezekiel. Now it shows us Ezekiel's story. We see that when Ezekiel took the spider from Cassie's mother, he used the spider's venom to become very powerful. He not only gained spider-like powers, but he also became physically very strong. And what's more, he also started to see future possibilities, just like Cassie. That's why every night, Ezekiel had the same dream. 3 spider girls were killing him. And the 3 spider girls in Ezekiel's dream were none other than Julia, Anya, and Maddie. So when Ezekiel saw them every night, he realized that maybe in the future, those 3 would kill him. And so he decided that he would stop that from happening in the future. And to make sure that didn't happen, he would find those 3 now and kill them. To do this, Ezekiel befriends an NSA officer, i.e., an officer of the National Security Advisor. Once he becomes a good friend of the officer, he kills her and takes access to the NSA. Once Ezekiel has access to the NSA, he can basically find anyone in the country because he can see any camera anywhere and track anyone's phone. In this way, Ezekiel tracks down the 3 girls. He came on this train to kill them so that they would not be able to kill him as spider girls in the future. But now, since Cassie on this train saw the event that Ezekiel was going to kill them, she takes the 3 girls with her before Ezekiel can reach them and gets them off the train. She tells them that their lives are in danger. But Ezekiel also sees that the 3 girls have gotten off the train. So he also gets off the train and tries to kill them. He also attacks any police officers who come his way. But Cassie somehow manages to get the 3 girls out of the station and takes them with her in a car. Only then does Cassie think about Ezekiel and she realizes that he must have access to cameras and locations everywhere. Because that's the only way he could have found the 3 girls so accurately. So as soon as she knows this, she takes their phones and throws them away. Then she takes the 3 girls to a forest and asks them to stay there so that Ezekiel can't track them down. But there, they discuss Ezekiel and wonder who the man was who was so powerful and also had spider-like powers because he was walking on the walls. Hearing this, Cassie asks them to stay there and goes straight home. Because Cassie has many of her mother's diaries at home, and she had seen many times that they contained a lot of information about spiders. Her mother used to do a lot of research on spiders. So, as soon as she gets home and checks her mother's diaries, she finds a photo in one of them that shows Ezekiel with her mother. She is shocked to see Ezekiel with her mother, but she also realizes that Ezekiel knew her mother. Through this diary, she also learns that Ezekiel knows about the 3 of them. So she quickly drives her car and goes straight to the same restaurant. But when she gets there, she sees that Ezekiel has already arrived. But before he can attack the 3 girls, Cassie hits Ezekiel with her car and takes the 3 girls in her car and drives them straight to Ben's house. At Ben Parker's house, she tells Ben that he has to keep them at his house for a few days because she is going out for a few days. And so, leaving the 3 girls at Ben's house, she meets the man from the tribe. Casey asks the man what he knows about her mom. She wants to know everything. The man reveals that he knew her mom and even delivered her when she was born. Now, the man takes Casey to a cave where she was born. When Casey reaches the cave, she starts to have visions of her mom, where she sees that when her mom was pregnant, the doctor told her that her baby was very weak and would die upon birth. But Casey's mom loved her child very much, so she came to the Amazon jungle because she knew that she could save her child with the DNA of that spider. When Casey learns this, she starts crying a lot and blaming herself because she hated her mom a lot. She thought her mom was researching in the Amazon jungle during her delivery. But when she learns that her mom came to this jungle just to save her, she becomes very depressed. But then the man tells Casey that she should appreciate her mom's sacrifice, which she did for her. Now she decides to take care of those girls and kill Ezekiel. The scene shifts here, and we see that Julia, Anya, and Maddie have been hiding at Ben Parker's house for several days, but here, at Ben's house, his sister-in-law gets pregnant, meaning Mary Parker, none other than Peter Parker's mother. Here, we see that Mary Parker's delivery time has come, which is why she has to be taken to the hospital in an emergency. For this, Ben Parker and Julia, Anya, and Maddie all together take Mary Parker straight into the car and leave for the hospital. But on the way, we see that the faces of all 3 appear in a camera, which is why it is known where they are, and that's why Ezekiel reaches there to kill all 3 of them. But as soon as Ezekiel comes in front of their car to kill all 3 of them, again here CZ arrives and hits Ezekiel with her car. And then she picks up those 3 girls in her car and with that, she tells Ben to take Mary to the hospital quickly, after which Ben Parker takes Mary straight to the hospital and CZ takes those 3 girls straight to another location. CZ takes 3 girls straight to a fireworks factory, but Ezekiel also reaches there behind them. However, as soon as CZ sees many visuals, she tells those 3 girls to set fire to all these fireworks, after which they all do the same and start setting fire to the boxes of all the fireworks. After this, CZ sees a visual in which she sees that on the roof of this same factory, there are many big iron rods, and the death of this Ezekiel is going to happen by being crushed under those iron rods. For this reason, CZ takes those 3 girls straight to the roof of that factory, but Ezekiel also arrives there behind them, and then after that, Ezekiel attacks them several times. But somehow, they manage to escape with CZ's help. Here, Ezekiel gets very angry with CZ because CZ keeps saving those 3 repeatedly, so he decides to kill Casey first. But CZ wanted this, and that's why she somehow brings Ezekiel close to her and puts him straight under those iron rods. When Ezekiel stands right under that iron rod according to CZ's plan, then CZ tells Ezekiel that actually, The reason for his death is not those three girls, but herself, meaning CZ Webb. Here Ezekiel also realizes that CZ Webb is no one else, but his own friend's daughter, whose life he had taken. And then after this, we see that a big iron rod falls straight on Ezekiel, due to which he dies. But because CZ has powers, she falls straight into the river next to her due to the breaking of the place around her. And as CZ falls into the water, a firework explodes near her eyes, due to which the CZ's eyes goes away. But then Julia, Anya, and Maddie altogether save CZ and admit her to the hospital, after which CZ's life is saved. But then we see that not only has the light of CZ's eyes gone, but her legs have also been damaged, and therefore she now uses a modified wheelchair. Here, we also find out that although CZ may not be able to see with her eyes, she still has full control over her powers, and therefore she can see the future of everyone else. Here, Julia, Anya, and Maddie also come to meet CZ, and here CZ tells those three that she can see their future, and it shows that all three will become very powerful superheroes within the coming time and will protect this world from evil. Along with this, on the other side, we also see that when Ben Parker reached the hospital with Mary Parker's delivery was successful, after which Peter Parker was born, meaning the Spider-Man of this place. With this movie concludes. I hope you have liked this movie recap. Please like, share and subscribe for more real recaps.